take the session. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Vinodini. I welcome you all on behalf of IHMA Kerala State Chapter. I would like to give an introduction about IHMA, Indian Homeopathic Medical Association, the pioneer organization of elite qualified homeopaths of India, and with its presence along the length and breadth of the country, IHMA has been relentless in its effort to upbring the quality of Indian homeopathy and its practitioners. There are three main subsidiary divisions of IHMA. The first one is Homeopathic Medical Panorama, the official journal of IHMA. This tri-monthly medical journal covers latest medical articles and news pertaining to homeopathy and medical science in general. It also covers the policy matters and other associational events and happenings related to homeopathy. The second one is Indian Homeopathic Research Center, which is a research wing of IHMA. Its objectives are to conduct and promote research in homeopathic system of medicine by formulating parameters, supporting and conducting active research in homeopathy. It also aims to fund worthwhile research projects with the help of like-minded supporting groups and persons. The third one is IHMA School of Homeopathy. It proposes a comprehensive package imparting meticulous personal training for cultivating the necessary skills which are essential for effective homeopathic practice. So, IHMA Kerala State Chapter has conducted a series of 50 sessions of season 1 of free webinar, and this is the season 2 of free webinar which is conducted by IHMA Kerala State Chapter. Dear delegates, only the permitted recordings alone will be uploaded in the YouTube because some recordings consist of information of the patients which cannot be disclosed in the internet. So I request all the delegates to make fruitful use of all the webinars. So before starting the session, we should salute your master, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. We feel very grateful for our master because he has emboldened us. He created so much positivity and encouraged us through his uncompromised efforts, which is brightening our days today. He made all of us as a very better and thoughtful person because without him, we are nothing today. And uh, I would like to introduce a speaker for today, Dr. Anjali Balakrishna Umajikar, ma'am. She is a yoga therapist and homeopathic consultant. She has completed her BHMS from Maharashtra, PG Classical Homeopathy from Greece, PGD Yoga, MSc Yoga, YIC, DN, Diploma in Nutrition from Stanford. She has a clinical experience of about 20 years. She completed her PG Classical Homeopathy from Greece. She is a qualified yoga therapist and a qualified yoga instructor from Nashik Yoga Vidyapeeth. PGDY from Swasya University, Bangalore. She completed her PG Diploma MSc Yoga from Tamil Nadu Sports and Physical Education University at Chennai. She is with Alpha to Omega, a school for special children, to impart yoga therapy to children as a part of therapy. She is associated with ACOM Foundation, an NGO in Chennai, as homeopathy consultant to conduct camps and training in homeopathy for general awareness. Ma'am, it is our privilege to have you in today's session, ma'am. Thanks for accepting the invite, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Vinodini. Thank you, Dr. Deepu. Thank you. Can I start? Yeah, you
Sure,
have
ma'am.
given a
Please.
you have given a good platform. IHM Kerala chapter. Really, I'm so glad to
Dr.
everybody.
Rekha ma'am actually here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Good afternoon,
Thank you,
doctors.
Dr. Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon, one and all. I am very much privileged to say that Dr. Anjali was part of our team, which has bringing about a book on treatment and autism through homeopathy, as well as along with other interventions. And she has penned an article about the yoga therapy along with homeopathic treatment. And it was a very great thing to be associated with all these doctors and doing a bit for homeopathy. Let us hear to her words. Dr. Anjali, stage is all yours. You can start the session. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Rekha. Thank you, IHMA. Thank you, IHMA Kerala. Thank you, Dr. Deepu. Thank you, Dr. Vinodini. You have given a big opportunity to explore my knowledge and to give sharing. Your hope word is yeah, helping each other. Really good. So nice. Thank you. Thank you. So what Samuel Hahnemann, our is the father of homeopathy, what he tells also, the highest ideal of cure is the speedy, gentle and enduring restoration of health by the most trustworthy and least harmful way. So that we all homeopaths we follow. So like as even yoga therapy also tells same thing. And see, I wanted to tell you about migraine. So what is migraine? Everybody now it's very common. It became very common and telling directly headache. No one is complaining. Directly they are telling about migraine. So my chapter, my today's session is on migraine. So just 1 minute. Sharing. 1 minute. Okay, so effective homeopathic treatment for migraine with yogic intervention. So headache, no one tells, like how depression word also, no one will tell frustration, nervousness, directly depression. Same nowadays, everybody tells migraine, I'm having migraine. But I'll explain you first what is headache. Headache means continuous pain in the head. The pain may be dull, sharp, throbbing, pulsating, constant, intermittent, mild or intense. So there are the types of headache. In that migraine headache comes. See here, that is a tension headache, cluster headache, migraine headache, allergy, that is we call sinusitis, hormone headache, caffeine headache means many people they suffer with the, they explain, they tell especially whenever I drink coffee, I feel kind of nervousness and then starts weakness and then headache. Exertional headache, that many of them they complain about, if I go for intense jogging, intense exercising, then I'll suffer with headache. Hypertension headache, that everybody knows, that is BP related. So these are the types of headache. So in that migraine headache is there. So I'm going to explain about migraine headache. So what is migraine? See, this migraine, many of them are having that pain begins on one side of the head, either both sides suddenly starts, okay, with or without aura. A migraine headache is normally the patient complains about throbbing, pulsating, that kind of pain. So many people experiences even nausea, vomiting, extreme sensitivity to light, sound, or both also. They don't want to listen any music. They will just close the door and they'll sit in the room, in a dark room. They don't want to go with that any small insensitivity also. So that triggers their headache. So migraine are possibly hereditary. 90% people with migraines report have family members are suffering. If you ask any patient, they'll tell, yeah, my mother used to suffer, ma'am. My father used to be having this kind of headache. Suddenly starts this throbbing kind of pain. So the causes of migraine are not totally understood, but we can say this is environmental, it's genetic, play a role. So migraine results from a combination of genetic, environmental and lifestyle factors. Means nowadays this lifestyle disorders coming. What is lifestyle disorders means, like many people are sitting 24 hours in front of the computer, 12 hours one place they're sitting and just doing their work stressfully. So that gives a neck pain and then sudden throbbing pain starts. Then some people are having night duties. So that gastrointestinal, that time clock will change. So because of that also they suffer, that acidity triggers. Then they feel a giddiness, then they feel a throbbing pain. So this is a lifestyle factor. So migraine is a disabling episodic brain disorder. Episodic brain disorder means patients tells us, ma'am, this comes every month. Once in a month I suffer. Once in a week it comes. If I go in the sun, exposed to sun, again it immediately starts headache. So that episodic brain disorder is also there. So characterized by headache as associated with photophobia and phonophobia. Even that what, as I said earlier, that sensitivity of light, sensitivity of noise with nausea and vomiting. Approximately 1/3 of patients, headaches are preceded by transient focal neurological symptoms. It is called aura. Same, like many people, if that when they're suffering with the migraine, either before migraine also, they tell some kind of blurred vision is coming in front of my eyes. Either some shapes comes like a DNA, RNA. Medically, if you see that DNA, RNA shapes comes in front of their eyes. Either blind spots comes. So that is a, even some people, they say some sound comes, echoes comes. So that is a aura. Even one subtype of migraine is there. That is a hemiplegic migraine. It is a rare type of migraine with aura, in which the aura includes motor weakness. They feel a physical weakness a lot. They don't want to do anything, just sitting in one place, and that is a hemiplegic migraine. So it is little severe also, but it is a rare type. So which areas pain comes? See, this pain comes, what patients comes and tells, not only throbbing headache. They'll tell, ma'am, my eyes also, I don't want to open my eyes. Eyes are so painful. Sometimes because of sinusitis, they're having a face, means that cheeks pain also. Sometimes they will show the cheeks parts, that is a nearby nostrils, that painful, they are telling. Neck pain will be there, neck stiffness is there. And type, as I said, acute, sudden starts, frequent, always that once in a week, once in a month, regular, that episodic comes. Then throbbing sensitivity to light, noise. Whole body will become like a feverish. Something is happening. They don't want to do anything. Like a dizziness will be there. So, as I said, aura, that sensitivity to sound. Then gastrointestinal, that lifestyle disorder, in that I told. See, nausea and vomiting also will be there. Commonly, this patient will be that phase also, and before that phase also. Irritability. They complained about some nasal congestion because of sinusitis. If cause is sinusitis, otherwise they'll be always they'll be before, and that during attack to will be there, but before attack also they'll become little irritable, forgetfulness will be there. So that is we can say warning symptoms. Migraine headaches are warning symptoms. Now, which causes, why it is, that is also sometimes patients comes and tell, why ma'am I'm suffering? My mother used to suffer, I am also suffering, my brother is suffering. Some families, that 3, 4 people, they suffer. But really, cause of migraine is not yet known. It is suspected that they result from abnormal activity in the brain. So, but there are triggering factors are there. We tell, as a doctor, we tell you just observe. See when it triggers. If stress related, any emotional, if you are getting so much anxiety, you are so much excited, that time it is happening. When you are going to the sun, that exposed to the sun, then it happens. So like many people, even they tell, if I take ice cream, chocolate ice cream, either chocolates also, I feel this kind of dizziness kind of thing. MSG, that is, we know now because of Maggie, we understood that is a particular salt. Okay, so that is a monosodium glutamate. So citrus fruit, spicy foods, drinks containing aspartame. So that aspartame is also a big role. Alcohol, smoking, that is a chain smoker. And especially ladies suffers in that 60-70% is a hormonal imbalances also. These ladies, they'll tell, before period, during period, after period I feel good, ma'am, but before period it is just starts my migraine attack. That headache starts like a throbbing pain, it's unbearable pain starts. Either sometimes this girls, they take oral contraceptives, hormonal replacement therapy. In that also they suffer with this. These are the triggering factors. What happens in the brain exactly? We are telling this happens, this happens. So migraine pain theory, it happens due to waves of acute activity of groups of excitable brain cells. Right, like I told last, hey, see, this is a excitable. Excitement, anxiety gives. So excitable brain cells. So this triggers chemicals such as serotonin. So what happens, and sometimes that narrowing the cells also. So, but during migraine, these stimuli feel like all out assault. The brain produces outside reaction to the trigger. It's the electrical system. See here, I have shown here misaligned vertebra can pressure blood vessels and or irritate spinal nerves. These are the vertebrae. Sometimes this neck stiffness complaint will be there. So electrical activity causes a change in a blood flow to the brain, which in turn affects the brain nerves. So blood vessels in the head expand to offset reduced blood supply, and sudden expansion irritates. Sudden expansion of the blood vessels because of serotonin, and that throbbing pain of migraine starts. So pressure blood vessels reduces blood flow or for brain. Irritated nerves may tell vessels to narrow further, reducing blood flow. So this happens in the brain. So what are the phases of the migraine? Like as I said before, during and after. So that is pre-monitory phase. So you need to monitor what happens pre-monitory. So headache phase, many of them, they know when they suffer, that is a terrible throbbing pulsating pain will be there. And post-dromal phase also, you need to observe those, then we can understand and we can treat according to that. Like how we homeopaths also take a history, what happens, and depend on that we will select the medicine. So same thing, even as a yoga therapist, I will tell, yes, particular asana, particular pranayama, particular kriya, meditation, some relaxation techniques are there that you need to do depending on that pre-monitory phase. So you need to tell, we need to tell us that yoga therapist also, either homeopath also. So pre-monitory phase, you can understand, she will complain several hours up to several days, he or she. Before the headache appears, in this phase, can experience extreme tiredness. Several hours, either days also, 2-3 days before, they'll extreme tiredness they feel. Concentration problem will be there. They are not able to concentrate. Muscle stiffness in the neck. Excessive yawning because of less oxygen supply to the brain. Irritability. They do irritate all the small things also. Then they can understand, yes, now I'm going to that phase, migraine phase, that sensitivity to light and nausea. They want to again close eyes and just sit. So some people experiences aura even in pre-monitory phase also. So what is migraine? That is, the pain may last for few hours, few days, affected very badly, and then they'll complain nausea, vomiting, they'll do 2-3 times vomiting, then that throbbing headache won't stop at all. So they need to take some medication. So this is a migraine attack. Then post-dromal also, it's a similar type of pre-monitory. Again, after that 2-3 days, whatever, 2-3 hours, 2-3 days after that attack, again they linger for more than a day, and same experiences they will feel. That is a extreme tiredness, concentration problem. They want to sleep for at least 1 or 2 hours. They don't want anything, calmness they feel. They have to want to go with that relaxation things. So they experience the same situation like a pre-monitory phase. So what is yoga's intervention in that? What yoga does for migraine? Especially this pre-monitory stage, we can help patients, migraine patients. because whatever they're telling, according to that, we can go like a tiredness, concentration problem. So we can at least postpone that migraine attack. And sometime if you are doing, keep on doing this asanas, relaxation techniques, so sometimes this whatever monthly episodic comes, that monthly, weekly, 15 days, every 15 days, at least you can postpone that attack, and that reduces also. There are the researches, they have treated also sometimes. So what yoga does, see, whatever it happens, we as a yoga therapist will go with the symptomatically, same like a homeopath. How homeopathic, we homeopaths also, we go symptomatically. So we will understand patient what stains, like a brain stem, like a patient will tell stomach, sorry, neck pain, neck stiffness if they tell. So you need to think about this brain stem, trigeminal nerves. So from where it is coming. So however is a suspect, it may begin or near the brain stem. When overexcited brain cells, also, like as I told, that serotonin increases, and then sudden expansion of the nerves gives a throbbing pain. Same with the trigeminal nerves also. Trigeminal nerves also firing nervous stimulants and to release several neurotransmitters like a serotonin. So, and then CGRP also, that is a neuropeptides. So that are believed to the big culprits behind this pain. So they are imbalancing, they are fluctuating. So they are the big culprit of this one-sided headache, especially these patients at a left side, right side. So trigeminal nerve. So you need to understand which exercise you can give for them. If they are telling, they are explaining you, okay, I'm having a left-sided, I'm having a right-sided. So according to that, you need to go. Same with the cortex, dura, thalamus. How, what it happens. See here, cortex, dura, and thalamus. So because of this, that signal, that neurons continue to send signals, okay, out to different parts of the brain. That is because of this blood serotonin level is increasing, and then nerve cells are expanding, and just firing neurons continue to send signals to the different parts of the brain. So you need to understand, if patient is telling backside, my backside pain, that is a occipital pain, it starts from backside, it is not in the temporal region. So which exercise you need to avoid, which asana you need to avoid, you need to understand those things, and you suggest those pranayama, those asanas, and those techniques to the patient. So here also I wanted to explain why these pain centers, all the time we are telling flow of electrical impulses, inflamed blood vessels. So this is the blood vessels are inflamed. So electrical impulses are abnormally active brain cells. And then it's wrong, what goes wrong in that? So same what I told, chemicals in the brain causes blood vessels dilatation and inflammation of the surrounding tissues. So migraine originates deep within the brain. So what chemicals that are released when we exercise help to create new neurons? Okay, every time we tell, new regeneration will be there. So exercise in general increase production of good neurotransmitters like serotonin and euphoriants and a stimulant. So asana produces endorphins and euphoriants as well as gamma aminobutyric acid, which is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. What is that inhibitory signals? What they do? The stronger the inhibitory signals, the easier it to be settled down over active responses. Like as I said, according to that, if you suggest them asanas, according to that pain, what explanation they are giving you, how it comes, from where it starts, according to that, if you go, so it settle down over that active responses. So lying down shavasana will allow these good chemicals to flood our system, allowing our nervous system to benefit. So shavasana, that during migraine period is not possible to do anything, but pre-monitory phase, we can do so many things to avoid that migraine phase. So these are the some asanas. That is a Setu Bandhasana. What happens in Setu Bandhasana? See, patient tells neck pain. So you are not lifting your neck. Neck is as it is, and you are not fully, your body is not taking upwardly like a Sarvanga Asana. So you are not pressurizing your neck also. So whose symptoms starts from the neck and occipital region, they can go with the Setu Bandhasana. So we are not giving any pressure on the neck. Pressure comes on the shoulders, and you are holding even ankles also. So what happens? Helps to relax the mind and the nervous system, and again, and also increases oxygen intake also. So distributes even energy level. Even if it is not possible like this position also you can do. Not necessary to hold your ankles. This is a Setu Bandhasana. So Shashanka Asana. Many of the schools they tell Vajrasana Yoga Mudra. Either rabbit pose in English. So Shashanka Asana, what, see, like chakras chapter is there, but now I am not explaining here. So here what happens when you are bending forward and here forehead is touching to the floor, that time your sixth chakra activates and your serotonin, dopamine, cortisol, all these hormones will balance. Where all the time in 3-4 slides I told serotonin is a big culprit of these things. If it imbalances and it just excitedly activates your nerve cells, so you can balance those things. Because of this position releases the stress and functioning of adrenal gland, so improves blood supply to the head and even oxygen supply. This is the Shashanka Asana. Even Marjarasana is there. Marjarasana, see, patient when it starts this before migraine, that before migraine stage, that is a prenormal stage. In that, patient is he or she knows I'm going to suffer with a very bad throbbing pain, but I don't want to make my head down like this. So you can suggest only this cat pose improves digestion, where that nausea, gastritis, vomiting starts and it triggers your migraine. So you can do this. You can suggest them to do this kind of position, and only this. They can avoid this position if they are having that fear. If they take down their head, their migraine attacks comes immediately. So what happens in Marjarasana? Relaxes the mind, improves digestion, and it is good for menstrual problems also, where that lady suffers because of hormonal problems also before, during, and after menses. So Shavasana. Many of them, they like Shavasana. Shavasana is really good. It's a difficult technique actually. It calms the brain, relaxes the body, reduces headache, fatigue, brain waves, what we were telling about the waves, like how it comes, impulses going on, this electrical impulses is just going very haywire and this imbalancing your all the hormones. So these are all slows down, blood pressure reduces, where I have told you hypertension is the one more cause for migraine, headache. Yoga Nidra. So Yoga Nidra and Shavasana positions are same. So only I'll explain about what is Shavasana and what is Yoga Nidra. So Shavasana is a 7 minutes Shavasana relaxation technique, more than a maximum 10 minutes. So you just from toes to head, you have to relax your body parts and concentrate on your breathing. Focus on your breathing. But in Yoga Nidra is a state of consciousness between waking and sleeping, like going to sleep position. Okay, so you will be unconscious. You will be conscious, but that waking and sleeping in between phase. So in that stages are there, but not like a Shavasana. Shavasana, you just relax your body parts and concentrate on your breathing. But in Yoga Nidra, some stages are there. That is like when we are doing like a Shavasana, you have to relax first from the Stage 1 mein you have to relax your toes to the head, all the body parts. Then rotation awareness will be there. Then awareness of feeling and emotions will be there. Stage 3. Then stage 4 mein you have to give us some small story kind of thing, like a visualization. We call, like they have to mentally, they have to just see one small story you have to narrate in front of them, and just they have to go on a relaxation mode. So this is a 25-30 minute ka yoga nidra is there. So it relaxes a lot. Brain waves, all serotonin, hormonal problems in the body, brain, especially which triggering factors, it controls, it balances and relaxes your mind and body. So this is a yoga nidra technique, is really good for migraine people, headache people. Same deep breathing. You should not do intense breathing, fast breathing you should not do. When even during migraine also you can do deep breathing. During migraine you can do shavasana and yoga nidra. But during migraine you cannot do these asanas. When that attack comes, you avoid to do asanas, but you can do shavasana, yoga nidra and deep breathing. So deep breathing, intense breathing you should not do. Fast breathing we call, should not do. So what happens in deep breathing, when you are slowly inhaling and slowly exhaling, enhances parasympathetic nerves and decrease sympathetic nervous activity. So improves your cardiovascular and respiratory functions. So decrease the effect of stress, improves your mental health. Whatever stress you are carrying, and you will just go in that migraine phase, you can prevent also with the deep breathing. Slowly inhale and slowly exhale. While inhaling, stomach should come out. That you have to just concentrate on that, and then slowly you have to do deep breathing. Then pranayama. Which pranayama? Lots of pranayamas there. Bhrastika pranayama, this bandhas pranayama, kevali pranayama. But nadi shuddhi pranayama is also good for brain. So it helps to calm the nervous system, support the parasympathetic nervous system. Normally we call, if you do this pranayama, this is for your calmness, your stress will release, reduces your anxiety. So especially Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama should perform. During migraine attack also you can do. Before migraine attack also you can start. Mudras. Some mudras are also there. This you can do. This is very simple mudras. Jnana mudra, that is a thumb and first finger, index finger. And second mudra is a Kaleshwar mudra. You can interlock fingers and middle finger, you can touch each other. Either you can go with this. You have to join like this and do. So Jnana mudra, what Jnana mudra does, normally we use for meditation, meditation process. Either when we want to sit simply also for Omkar chanting, that time also we sit in a Jnana mudra, either Jnana mudra. So it stimulates the root chakra. Root chakra means Mooladhara chakra, where it is situated in the tailbone. That chakra activates and easing your tension and depression, whatever anxiety, stress, releases. Extremely calming and brings a spiritual openness with it if you sit in a Jnana mudra. Kaleshwar mudra, it helps for sleep. Many people are having that sleep problem. Because of that also it triggers headache. So Kaleshwar mudra helps take control of your mind, useful for insomnia, useful for restlessness and irritation. Now Jalaneti. Now because of this COVID-19, many of them, they understood what is Jalaneti. See Jalaneti, why? Because headache, one triggering cause is again one more there, that is a sinusitis. You can, that is I told, if patient coming and telling you about nasal blockage and my headache starts, ma'am, that left side, right side, either full headache starts. So you can understand if he's suffering with the sinusitis, with the medication, you can tell them to clean their nasal things, nose. So it's a great technique to keep your ears, eyes, nose away from infections. So see, if your nasal block is there, so water won't come. But if nasal blockage is not there, so water will come, if you are putting right nostril, so it will come from left nostril. So you are cleaning the ear, the nose. So this is a Jalaneti. Then transcendental meditation. It's a same like a meditation only, but what is the difference between this meditation and this transcendental meditation? Meditation, many in that many of them they tell you can chant Omkar, you can keep something, focus on some picture like Omkara picture or something, and then you just silent chanting. Either you just chant and sit for 20 minutes and 15 minutes. But in transcendental meditation, we are not chanting. We are just sitting in a comfortable position, any position, Vajrasana, this lotus mudra, that is Padmasana, half Padmasana, cross legs. So you just sit for 20 to 30 minutes in one position, in one comfortable position. Keep your hands in a different mudra, that is a right hand down, left hand up, that is a for ladies, that is a Sahajoli mudra, and left hand down and right hand up, that is a Vajroli mudra. You need to sit because root chakra will activate and you feel relax after this transcendental meditation, and reduces your blood levels of epinephrine, non-epinephrine, and cortisol also, and calming your nervous system. Here you no need to chant. You just tell your mind, no need to control your thoughts. Whichever thoughts are coming, letting out. So that you have to tell and just sit like this. So it's a practice, transcendental meditation. So it gives a stress relief also. Now, this is the yoga, how yoga works on migraine. So I wanted to share my cases also, how I have gone through and how I have given a homeopathic medicine to these cases. See, this case one is 43-year-old lady. She came in 2017. He is an accountant, okay, in bank. He suffered throbbing headache with vomiting since many years. Headache alternates with nausea using tablet Sibelium for headache. He is taking tablet Sibelium, I think 10 to 12 years. His mental state is very shy, introverted person, spoke very rarely. It doesn't speak gada gada gada, not just one or two words if you are asking so many questions. However, he is a short-tempered, sometimes gets violent. Whenever he exhibits anger, his palms and soles sweat immediately. He is habituated to smoking and can only feel the smell of smoke around him. He has gastric issues as well as he suffered constipation. Gastric issues means he's having the time some kind of burning in the stomach. Either he is feeling burning in the throat also. The unfortunate part is exercise results in migraine attacks. Like I have mentioned even in first slide, exercise, intense exercise also, either for in this patient, even normal walking, half an hour, 1 hour walking also, if he does, he's feeling headache is migraine, that triggering my headache. So this exercise is for him is a triggering factor. So mother and brother, like as I said, family history. So mother and younger brother also suffered migraine. Father suffered from hypertension. What treatment I have given? I understood if he's an accountant, so I thought, because sometimes he used to tell me that neck pain also. So neck pain in the sense neck stiffness, that muscles get so stiff, I need to do what you said me, that neck exercise. Even though after that also, after 10 to 15 minutes again, slowly that stiffness starts. So I thought to give Semicifluga, but no result. I did not get any kind of result. So I considered his mental state and I have given Nitromur because he's so introverted. He is not speak. Very rarely he spoke. He is not very free-minded. So I have given a Nitromur. Only 30% result comes. 30% result in the sense that attacks, what he used to tell, it comes suddenly once in a month. So that monthly attack is going to only 1.5 months. So that only that 30% result I got. So, and he came with the complaint of severe throbbing headache at midnight, he told, indigestion, feels to smoke. He's thinking if I smoke more and more, then my headache will come down. But consider this, all the symptoms given Noxomica. Now he's feeling really better, not taking tablet, even Sibelium also, which he's taking since 10 to 12 years. This is my first case. Now, second case is a 39-year lady. She is a computer operator. Her migraine attacks after menopause started at the age of 37. See, she came to me at the age of 39. Her menopause started at the age of 37 and migraine also. So from past 2 years, she has been experiencing migraine. She was suffering with dryness of skin, especially more on forehead and vagina. She was having dryness of mouth and feels hot all the time. All the time she used to come to the clinic and tell, ma'am, you check my fever. Might be I'm having fever. But if you just, when you check her, nothing will be there. But examine also, no fever, no hot feeling to you. But she herself, she feels hot. So, and mentally, she's so irritable, nervous, suspicious, with suicidal thoughts. Just coming her. All the time she's telling, if I sit alone, though, my God, suicidal thoughts haunting her. She felt fed up with life as her husband was a heavy drinker. Her attempts to stop her husband from drinking only ends up in bitter quarrel. All the time fighting, especially when he comes with heavy drinking. Lack of harmony at home has led to misbehavior on the part of her children. Also, children started taking lot of advantage, not talking very good manner to mother, just misbehaving. No sound sleep to this girl. So generals, when I asked her, acidity, constipation alternates with diarrhea. So this is again related to anxiety and stress, because acidity just increases. Whenever I'm asking her what you are eating, what is your daily food habits and all, nothing. She's not eating also. She's not eating mood at all. She's telling, but I don't know, ma'am, why this acidity is just coming like this. And because of that, she's suffering with constipation also. And when she comes, when we counsel her, when we give medicine, then she'll eat full day. Then again, she'll go with the diarrhea. So always that constipation alternates diarrhea. Face, as I said, dryness of forehead. Sometimes face looks like a rosacea, like a redness of the cheeks. Dryness of lips, nose block, steaming gives relief for some time. Whenever I tell to take steam, either Jalaneti, what I told, that Jalaneti also I used to tell. So it gives relief for some time. No respiratory complaints. Extremities, that is, she tells weakness, lot of weakness, pain in the leg. That especially she mentioned before period. Female symptoms, what? Profuse white discharge but no smell, vaginal itching a lot, dryness disturbs her routine. Menopause started at the age of 37, as I said earlier. So past history, she's a diabetic from past 4 years, and been under allopathic treatment for diabetic. Family history, father was a diabetic, mother suffers from hypertension. So all the symptoms I have considered, and what treatment I have given her, Nitramur, because of her thousands of thoughts coming in the mind and telling him to go for suicide. So not explaining, just coming and telling a lot of symptoms and telling it's a hammering in my head, ma'am. Just thousands of thoughts coming. So after a month, she started complaining about severe vaginal itching. Her mental state was same as before sometimes. Nervousness increases a lot. Then she feels to suicide. No improvement in migraine. Given Medorinum. Considered all vaginal itching, dryness. started feeling better in female complaints, means vaginal itching is better, dryness of the vagina is better, white discharge has reduced, sometimes bloody discharge was there, that also. Migraine become periodically, just coming monthly. So given Sapia, because feeling alone, children started behaving very badly to her also because of their father. Patient is feeling good, no reoccurrence of the symptoms. So why I have chosen this and this pain and this. So I followed Gaint and Boric repertory, and where I found this pulsating headache, I found here dull pain, here Noxomica, where my case 1, that is a accountant, where I saw this dull pain, all the time throbbing pain, that is a Noxomica I found here. And then, and then this is a concomitants where I saw anxiety, even this throbbing, beating, hammering, pulsating. Here also I saw, that is a Noxomica, and Nitramur, what I have given earlier, but it didn't work. But Noxomica worked. So then gastrointestinal even derangement in that also Noxomica. That is, I have considered and I have given a Noxomica to my accountant patient. And this lady where I saw pruritus, itching of the skin, in that also I saw Sapia, where she is again feeling alone, hot feeling in the full hot feeling all over the body. So I have considered this also for Sapia, and even in headache also I found Sapia in this that pulsating and throbbing. So then I have considered the Sapia for this second case. So thank you for that. I have explained, I think, well. I think you understood very well, everybody. So, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can we take up some questions, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, this question is from Dr. Tripti. In patients with sinus headache along with migraine, which asana helps? What to do in such case?
See, as I said, sinusitis, first you tell her to do this Jalaneti. Okay, you need to teach them Jalaneti. If they are not able to perform, either you are not able to teach, then you tell them to go for steaming. So nasal congestion should release. Whichever discharges are there, it should come out. Then they feel little relaxed. Asanas, you cannot see, no asanas for sinusitis especially. Before that, like because of nasal polyp, because of nasal congestion. So before that, if you want to do, so do Jalaneti first, clean your nostril. Even nasal polyp also will reduce, nasal congestion also will reduce with the steaming and Jalaneti. Then you go for breathing and pranayama. Then you feel little better, and then, as I said, those asanas you can tell them to do. Sorry.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, this question is from Dr. Tejaswini Bhatt. Pranayama, in pranayama, Anulom Vilom or Ujjayi or Brahmari, which is a
Brahmari pranayama. During migraine attack, you won't be able to perform because already you are having lot of pain, and that Brahmara sound irritates you more. So sometimes it aggravates. So you should not do Brahmari that time. But before you can do, that is like I told that before migraine attack. But Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama, it supports your parasympathetic nervous system. So that is why that activates your that relaxation things, that balances your hormones and gives a relaxation response. So whichever attacks come on that 15th day or 17th day, at least you can prevent those attacks with the Nadi Shuddhi. Ujjayi Pranayama, This is actually for lungs expansion, and this is a lungs pranayama, Ujjayi pranayama. Normally, see, indirectly it is good for all over the body, all over the system, every pranayama. But specifically, if you go, Ujjayi pranayama is for respiratory, like a Nadi Shuddhi pranayama is for brain. But Nadi Shuddhi pranayama also activates all the chakras, and you will get all the benefits. But for especially if you want to see migraine, so better you do Nadi Shuddhi pranayama, and you can do during migraine also. It soothes you, it gives calmness also.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, this is a question from Dr. Fatima. Can you please explain Jalaneti, ma'am?
Yeah, Jalaneti, I think we need to teach practically. See, Jalaneti pot you will get, you have to keep, you have to take a little warm water with pinch of salt. You have to
Okay, ma'am.
put it in that pot, hey, and that how he kept, like this, you have to keep on right nostril, just out, not so much outside, not so much inside, that our nasal septum is there, you have to keep, then slowly that water will come from left nostril. You see, it is
Okay.
not coming because it is blockage. Same you have to do, half of the pot will get over, then you have to go for left nostril. You keep same thing with the left nostril, just turn little slant and do. But better you just see practically and then you perform.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, this question is from Dr. Harpreet Kaur. Asanas for insomnia, ma'am.
Asanas for insomnia. See, insomnia's cause you have to understand basically. What is the cause of insomnia? Why he is not getting sleep? Everybody knows this is a universal truth, stress and anxiety. But sometimes not alone that, much active people also they won't get sleep. They are having this, I want to do this, I want to do, all the time they'll keep timetable. Now that is why also they don't get sleep. You cannot labelize all the time stress also. So in that case also, as I said, this Shavasana and Yoga Nidra works really good. Even in the stress kind of patients also, anxiety patients also, and even active people also, more activeness also, where it imbalances your again hormones. Okay, so in that case also they can do Shavasana and Yoga Nidra.
Okay, ma'am. There is one more query from a doctor. Any asanas for hormonal imbalance, ma'am?
Yeah, Surya Namaskar is a very good for hormonal imbalance. Very good. You have to do 12 Surya Namaskar daily. You can tell them patients. Even as I said, this Marjar Asana, when you are going inhale and exhale, you always keep on that that abdominal spasms will reduce. Okay, menstrual problems means especially abdominal spasms will reduce.
Okay,
And
so in cases of dysmenorrhea, we can advise Marjarasana, ma'am.
Marjarasana, yeah, because we see asana means you have to be in that position for some time, then chakra activates. But
Okay,
here we are doing like a exercise. So we
okay,
are not doing any asana kind of thing during period.
okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, this question is from Dr. Samiran Sarkar. In the third case, he wants to know the potency of medorinum, ma'am.
Medorinum 200 I have given.
Okay.
Second case, yeah.
Okay. Ma'am, there is a query from a doctor. Why was not tabacum suggested in the first case, ma'am?
Yeah, because of smoking, na? Yeah,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
correct. See, I thought to give that, but I thought I'll try with the Noxamica first. If it is not working, then we'll go for Tabacan. But after Noxamica, when I've given, then he is feeling better. Then I didn't go with that tobacco medicine.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Ma'am, this question is from Dr. Dhruv. Please suggest Yoga Nidra song or mantra.
Yoga Nidra song, either mantra is not there. See, Yoga Nidra, you that whoever your teacher, your yoga guru, whoever is taking Yoga Nidra, either nowadays those CDs are also getting. You need to imagine some kind of picture in front of you. Like many of them, they tell Omkara picture and this, and then you concentrate there. So like a temple, sea, sky, like this you have to do. Visualization will be there, and then slowly you will be go with in that aura, and then you have to tell them after 10 to 15 minutes you have to come out slowly, relax with the relaxation body, relaxing your body parts.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. There is a question from Dr. Tejaswini Bhatt. Frequency of pranayama for preventing the attack.
Frequency of pranayama?
For preventing the migraine attack, ma'am.
Yeah, definitely. It prevents attack also. It even first initially you can understand how it is postponing. Like a patient comes and tells us every month, every 15 days it comes. If I go sun, whatever causes they are telling, according to that you can understand also how your pranayama is working.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, there is a query from Dr. Rehna. Asanas for allergic rhinitis, ma'am.
Asanas for allergic rhinitis. See, again I told, na, see, asanas, particular asanas are not there for allergic rhinitis, but Jalaneti and steaming, and even they can go after Jalaneti, after steaming, they can go for breathing exercises like Anulom Vilom, somebody told, na, here. So
Yes,
that
ma'am.
Anulom Vilom, either Puraka Rechaka they call, in English we call inhale exhalation. So those practice they can do, and after that, if they're feeling good in that you can understand how blockages are there. You are very easily you are taking breathe, where how you are easily you are taking or not, and then slowly they can go for pranayama.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay. Ma'am, one last question, ma'am.
Okay.
Asanas for joint pains, ma'am.
Out of syllabus. Okay. Asanas for joint pain. See, when suffering, that time you are not able to do. Again, I am telling what is the cause of joint pain. That again you need to understand. Like how homeopaths also we think all the parameters and then we'll suggest the medicine. Same thing. So if it is an exertional joint pain, then they and stress related, like because of uric acid, gout. So how we take all the parameters, same thing. You have to consider those things, and according to that tell them to do chair Surya Namaskar. So movement will be there, like a normal Surya Namaskar we know, but chair Surya Namaskar they no need to sit down fully and coming up. Chair Surya Namaskar they can do. So that will be there. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am. It was a wonderful session. It was very informative, ma'am. On behalf of IHMA Kerala State Chapter, I express a deep sense of appreciation, ma'am. It was such a thought-provoking session, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Vinodini. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I also invite Dr. Rekha, ma'am, to say a few words about this session. Ma'am, please, ma'am.
Yes, Dr. Anjali, actually it was very comprehensive as well as very informative. Definitely, I think more people will like to study yoga as an intervention along with homeopathy. Let us hope it will create a new awareness about yoga as well. Thank you, Anjali, again for a rocking session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
And
Rekha.
thank you all the participants who have been consistently there with us and getting benefited. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Vinodini. Thank you, Dr. Rekha. Thank you, Dr. Deepu. Thank you. Thank you, all participants. Given me good platform and explained, I think explained well also. Because
it was very clear. Yeah, it was very clear. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.